Have you ever noticed how quickly some people do things and how long it takes others to do the same job? But then, have you also noticed how sometimes those who do things quickly don't do them so well? But that those who take their time and work patiently and hard do the job ever so much better? Well, I guess everybody moves at his own pace. We're all just wound up like springs, and some of us are tight springs and some of us are loose ones. Which are you? Do you have a tight spring or a loose spring? Do you move quickly? Or do you move slowly? Maybe you're like Mr. Hare was. He was fast. Or maybe you're just like Mr. Tobias Tortoise. He was slow. Let me tell you about them, and then you can draw your own conclusions. That is, if you like to draw conclusions. Have you ever drawn a conclusion, or would you rather draw a house with a chimney? Oh, well, that's a silly question, isn't it? Well, let's get on with the story. Fast, slow music, please. Oh, excuse me. I mean slow, fast music. Oh, dear. It's so hard to deal with two tempos at one time, to say nothing of two different temperaments. Well, let's not. Let's talk about Mr. Hare first, and then we won't get mixed up. Mr. Hare. Harry was his first name, but his friends called him Speedy for short. And he was a speedy fellow. He could run faster than the wind. He was, in fact, a champion rabbit runner. He ran rings round racing rabbits regularly. Oh, but what a braggart he was. Brag, 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 brag. He was undoubtedly the biggest, bellowingest, blatantest, bleatingest, boastingest bit of a braggart ever begotten by bushy bunnies anywhere. But there was no denying that he was fast on his feet, and he always won all the races he ever competed in. Well, why not? After all, he carried 4 rabbits' feet with him for luck. It's hard to beat that, you know. But somebody did. Oh, but I'm going too fast. I'm getting ahead of my story. Well, I suppose that's all right, too, when one is telling a tale. One should always be in front of his tail, shouldn't he? It's perfectly natural, isn't it? Well, where was I? Oh, yes. Brag, 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 brag. Yes, Mr. Hare would stand out there in the field, surrounded by all the animals in the neighborhood on a Sunday morning when everybody took it kind of easy, and he'd puff out his chest and say,
Yes, sirree, yes, sirree. Last time I raced anybody, which was about 5 minutes ago, my worthy opponent, maybe you know him, fellas, just came here from Louisville. Stanley Squirrel, his name is. No competition at all. I just raced him here for the waterfall 5 miles away. I don't think he's got off the mark yet. Probably won't get here till waterfall. I mean nightfall. Nice fella, you understand, but he's got to learn a lot about running. I tell you, when I won my first medal in the Olympics a couple years back, that was in '59, I think, the first of many, many to come, you know, I said to myself then, I have never been beaten, and I'm never going to be beaten. That is, not when I'm really trying. And right then and there, I put out a challenge, and that challenge still stands, fellas. Any rabbit, or anyone for that matter, here or anywhere else, that wants to race me and thinks he can beat me, has the opportunity. Be glad to accommodate.
I'll race.
Yes, sir, I'll be glad to accommodate anybody. Step right up, one at a time, please.
I'll race.
All I wish to say is, just don't feel bad, fellas, when you lose.
I'll race you.
Just think how much company you'll have.
I'll race you.
You know, you can always... Are you trying to say something, Toby?
I was just saying, I'll race you.
That's what I thought I heard you say.
That's what I did say.
When'd you say it?
Just now.
That's when I thought I heard you. You raced me! Ha! That's a riot! Funny guy, ain't he, fellas?
Ain't aiming to be funny.
Yeah, just got an unconscious wit, eh, Toby? How you like that, fellas? Toby the Tortoise wants to race me! That's like our friend Chubby the Chipmunk, walking up to Mickey Mantle without batting an eyelash and saying, I can knock out more home runs than you can. Some guys have delusions of grandeur, and others are just plain megalomaniacs. Now, who'd like to race me, fellas? Step right up.
I'll race you.
Oh, now, come on, Toby. Let's not get ridiculous. If you're serious, that is. You know you're the slowest thing on 4 legs. Everybody knows that. If you could beat me in a race, then that would really be some feat. Some feat. Hey, did you get that, fellas? Some feet!
I'll race you.
Oh, now, look, Toby, I don't want to make you look foolish.
Go on, Harry, teach him a lesson.
Yeah, Harry. He's a smart aleck upstart, sir. Show him where to get off.
Some people just ain't ever satisfied until they're licked.
And now look, fellas. Now, wait a minute. I don't want to show up Toby that way. He looks foolish enough without me making him look more so. I'll tell you what, Toby. I'll give you time to think it over. You'll need plenty of time for this, like you need for everything else. I'll give you a chance to change your mind.
Don't want to change it. Like it this way.
You do? All right. I guess he really means it, fellas. This is gonna be good, huh? When do you want to start the race, Toby?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you got yourself a deal, Toby, my boy. Now go on home and get yourself some rest. And fellas, spread the word round so we get a good crowd at the starting line. Tomorrow noon, 12 o'clock sharp. Toby Tortoise is gonna race Hare, the champion runner in the whole universe.
Well, the word got around all right, and the following day at 12 o'clock sharp, all the animals of the field, the birds and the insects, were on hand to watch the race. Hare was flexing his muscles and bragging to everyone around him about all the time records he had broken when Toby Tortoise crawled up to him and said,
I'm all set, Harry.
Oh, you must take me at least an hour to creep here from home. Don't you want to rest up first, Toby?
Ain't tired. Let's go.
Well, I'm ready if you are. Who's going to start us off?
I will.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Toby. That wouldn't be cricket.
That's a good idea.
What?
Get Chris Cricket.
You got something there.
Where?
On your back. Chris Cricket. Must have grabbed a free ride to the race. Hi there, Chris. How about it? Will you start us off?
Sure, go.
Oh, now, wait.
Wait a minute, Chris Cricket. Not so fast.
Yeah, we gotta wait for old Toby here to get some steam up and get on the starting line, Chris. Come on, Toby boy. We'll start over here at the edge of the grass.
Okay. Here I
All right.
come.
Yeah, come on, everybody. To the starting
Gonna be some race. I sure wouldn't miss this one. Oh, yeah, it's a race, all right.
All right. Here I am, Harry.
Okay, Toby. Thought you'd never get here. All right, Chris. You can start us off now.
Okay, go.
No. Chris, you gotta do it right.
Sure, Chris. You gotta say on your mark, get set, get ready, then go.
Okay, on your mark. Get set, get ready, then go.
No, Chris, not then go. Just go.
Okay, on your mark. Get set, get ready, just go.
Nah, Chris, that's not the way. Let's get a new starter. Chris don't have the hang of it.
Yeah, let's get Stan Squirrel. He hangs good, and he just got here.
Oh, Stan Squirrel. Glad to see you got here finally. How about starting us off on our race?
Sure. On your mark, get set, get ready.
Hey, wait a minute. Where are we going?
Ah, that's a good question, Toby. Hey, tell you what. We'll race down this road, through the field, over the hill, then make a right down by the big oak tree, head on to the north end of town, turn east by the schoolhouse, go through the woods to the lake, turn south to the sycamore grove, and then west till we get back to this spot. You got it?
Got it.
Ready?
Ready.
Okay, Stan, now's the time.
Okay. On your mark, get set, get ready, go. Look at Harry go. Look at that cloud of dust. I can hardly see. Where's Toby?
Hi, Stan.
Toby, you haven't left yet.
I'm leaving now. So?
Oh, gosh, poor Toby. He hasn't got a chance. Well, it sure did look as though Toby didn't have a chance. There was Hare going over the hill like a hurricane, and in the cloud of dust he left behind, you could just barely make out Toby plodding along, inch by inch, steadily to be sure, but not exactly with what one would call speed. But he didn't stop to catch a breath, and every step looked painful and full of effort. But I will say for Toby that he was even-paced. Every pace slow, but even. One after the other, without any let-up until he, too, finally disappeared over the crest of the hill. Meanwhile, 2 miles ahead, Hare pulled himself up short as he came to the first landmark, the big oak tree, which was the first turn of the course. And he said to himself,
Wonder where Toby is. Can't see him anywhere back there on the road. Probably hasn't got started yet. What a silly nincompoop he is, challenging me to a race. Me, Hare, champion runner in the whole universe. Well, there's no use knocking myself out. May as well sit down, rest a little bit, under this nice, cool oak tree. Ooh, this feels good. I just keep an eye on the road. When I see Toby coming over the crest of the hill, I'll just hop up and be off again. After all, I don't want to make him look too bad in front of all his friends. After all, Toby's a nice enough fella. He just doesn't know my own strength.
So, Hare, feeling very sure of himself, drowsed off under the big oak tree and dreamed that he became president of the world, because all the voters of the world thought that since he was such a good runner, he could run things better than anybody. Well, as he was wrapped up in this sweet dream, down the hill came tireless Toby, moving steadily without let-up, slithering along the road, keeping a perfectly monotonous rhythm, plod, plod, plod. Coming abreast of his sleeping opponent, Hare, he didn't change his pace one bit. He just cast a sidelong glance at him, and he muttered,
Goodbye, bunny. The treetop. You can sleep there, but I will not stop. So long, Harry.
And tireless Toby moved on, made his turn by the oak tree where Hare slept, and started on the next lap, heading toward the schoolhouse at the north end of town. An hour later, Hare woke up, rubbed his eyes, and said,
Well, I must have fallen asleep. Oh, what a dream. President of the world. And why not? That's what it should be. You can't get away from it. I'm pretty great. As a matter of fact, I'm the best race. Hey, the race. Almost forgot. I'm in a race. Wonder where old Toby is. Don't see him up the road. All quiet up there. Wonder what time it is.
Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo,
Must be 3 o'clock.
cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo,
6 o'clock.
cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo,
9 o'clock.
cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo.
Hey, what's going on here? Can't be 12 o'clock. We left at 12 o'clock. I never sleep 12 hours.
Cuckoo, you're cuckoo, you're cuckoo.
Hey, you up in the tree. That you can't feel cuckoo? Where'd you come from? Who you calling cuckoo anyway?
You, Toby's making a monkey out of you, Hare. He passed you an hour ago while you were sleeping.
You wouldn't kid me.
It's not my habit to kid a rabbit. Cuckoo.
Hey, I better get going.
So Hare went off in a burst of speed that made the grasses along the side of the road bend double as he whizzed past. So fast was he going that he scarcely even noticed when he passed the poor lumbering Tortoise, making his way laboriously toward the schoolhouse. By the time Hare reached the schoolhouse, he was going so fast he could hardly slow down for the turn, and he just managed to skid around it on 2 legs.
Whee! Almost overshot my mark. I sure was graceful on that turn. Wonder if anybody saw me.
I saw you, Harry. You were beautiful.
Huh? Who's there? Why, Beverly Bunny. Why, you're a sight for pink eyes. How you been?
Kinda lonesome, Harry. You haven't been round in a long time.
Well, I've been pretty busy, you know. Racing all over everywhere.
Is that what you're doing now? Racing? I sure don't see your competitor.
Honey Bunny, he's so far behind I'll beat him by a day. What you got there?
Carrots.
Where you going with them?
I was just hopping into the woods for a little nibble lunch. Want to come along?
Well, tell you the truth, I'm starved. But I suppose I should finish the race first.
Oh, Harry, you got plenty of time. You're so fast, and you're so graceful. Nobody in the whole world can beat you, Harry. I never saw anybody make a turn as beautiful as you made that turn.
Really?
Really. Come on, Harry. Let's go have a little lunch together. There's a nice little picnic spot right behind the schoolhouse. Come on, Harry. Let's have these carrots while they're still cool and crisp.
Okay, honey bunny. Let's have a little snack and then I'll be on my way. Poor old Toby Tortoise is sure to be late to school. Come on.
So, while Hare was having lunch with his friend Beverly Bunny, Toby Tortoise was passing the schoolhouse, lumbering along and mumbling to himself.
He must be way ahead of me, but I'm not giving up. These speedy fellas sometimes get overconfident. A race isn't over till it's won. I'm not giving up yet.
No, sir, Toby Tortoise was not giving up. He had more stick-to-itiveness than a jar of paste. He plodded on past the schoolhouse, through the woods, aiming for the lake, all the while thinking he was far behind Hasty Hare. But Hasty Hare was lingering over his carrot lunch with Beverly Bunny. Then, finally, Harry got up and stretched and said goodbye to his bunny friend. And before you could say jackrabbit, he was up at the next turn and tearing past plodding Toby, who felt the breeze as he zoomed by. By now, Harry had come to the lake. And what a pretty lake it was, with the sinking sun painting beautiful colors on it. Harry's ears went up at the lovely sight. Say what you will of Harry, he had his good points all right. And they were both on the top of his head. Well, anyway, he looked behind him as he ran, and since he couldn't see Toby anywhere near him, he decided to take a few moments off and go down to the edge of the lake. He bent over and looked in the water.
How beautiful, how beautiful. I have never seen anything like it. That's the most beautiful reflection I've ever seen. Looks just like me. Huh? It is me. I'll say it again. What a handsome fella.
Well, I thought it was the view that drew Harry. I was wrong. It was the view, all right, but not of the lake. It was the view of himself that he so admired. And he stood there for a long, long time, looking at himself from every angle. He even stood on his head. He just could not tear himself away from that great mirror. And all the while, plodding Toby was coming steadily and surely and deliberately and persistently down the road toward the finish line. In the distance, he could see the crowd waiting there, cheering him on. And Toby pushed and he puffed and he pressed on. Hare, up at the lake, took one last lingering look at himself and, completely satisfied with what he saw, decided to sprint that last lap to the finish line. He raced his motor a bit, and then he jet-propelled himself up the road. Imagine his surprise when he saw Toby Tortoise way up ahead of him, almost to the finish line. Harry sailed like an arrow, confident that he would overtake plodding old Toby. The crowd at the finish line was waving and shouting. Hare was practically on top of Toby Tortoise. Toby could feel his hot breath on his shell. He put forth one last spurt of energy, and he was over the line. He had beat Hare, the fastest runner in the universe. Now all the crowd lifted Toby on its shoulders and carried him around the field. And then the local TV announcer interviewed him. He asked,
And what advice have you for young runners, Toby?
Keep going. Just keep going, no matter what.
And the TV announcer turned to the stunned Hare, and he asked,
And what would you have to say regarding racing, Mr. Hare?
From my experience, I've learned that if you don't keep your mind on your goal, and if you like yourself too much, and if you get too confident, and if you underrate your opponent, well, all I can say is, here today and gone tomorrow. Good night, Toby. Congratulations.
Good night, Harry. Commiserations.
Thank you.